The Native American called it the singing wire, that hum produced when the wind swept through the plains across the telegraph wire. That sound still prevails in the Midwest of America. Many more wires create an awesome yet doleful sound as the wind blows across these myriad of wires used by the American railroad. But the melancholy quiet is broken now and then by the sharp blast of an air horn. Between Chicago and Kansas City, the Santa Fe threads its way across 450 miles of the Midwest. Through Illinois, the Santa Fe serves towns like Streator, Galesburg, and Chillicothe before reaching the Mississippi at Fort Madison, Iowa. In Missouri, towns like Wyconda, Gibbs, Buckland, and Marceline dot the countryside as each serves the Santa Fe in its own way. Santa Fe trains, which head west from Corwith Yard on the southwest side of Chicago, will hug the banks of the Chicago Sanitary Canal. On any day at Corwith, one can find almost constant activity at this huge classification yard. Switch engines, sometimes more than one pair, can be found tackling the myriad of sorting duties on almost any day. Incoming traffic from the west can be graced by a great variety of diesel power such as GE-840s, GP50s, and war bonnet-dressed FP45s, just to name a few. Traffic leaving the yard and heading west may have just recently connected with Conrail, who serves the south end of the yard. Hotshot trains averaging 35 a day fly across the Midwest. A good example of these hotshots is eastbound 991 as it sweeps by near Harlem Avenue. And the westbound counterpart is train 199. LACH-1, a Los Angeles to Chicago hotshot double stack, rounds a picturesque curve near Willow Springs Road. And the Southwest Chief heads toward Chicago after its long trip from Los Angeles. It makes the run from Kansas City to Chicago in only 8 hours, with a crew change at Fort Madison. An intermodal train will make the same run in about 9.5 to 10 hours with the same crew from Kansas City to Chicago. When this production was made during the summer of 1991, crews changed at Marceline and Chillicothe, but these crew change points were eliminated in late 1991. Pig trains are to be found almost everywhere on this 450-mile freeway, and this westbound at Willow Springs Road is already picking up speed for the dash across the prairie. Soon after, the westbound Amtrak Southwest Chief makes its appearance. At Lamont, the Santa Fe makes one of its 2 crossings across the Chicago Sanitary Canal. Although a beehive of activity 25 years ago, Joliet can take no back seat to the astounding action on just one afternoon. The first train to grace our cameras was an eastbound TOFC. and we catch it again just east of the picturesque station. Passengers await the local westbound and Rutledge, which must be fit in between the solid blocks of freight. In between all this east and westbound traffic, the tower operator must squeeze in Metra trains as well. This one runs on ex-Rock Island trackage. And just a few minutes later, an eastbound TOFC crosses the diamond. Four miles west of Joliet, at milepost 40, war bonnets head an eastbound near a Commonwealth Edison power plant. A leased General Motors unit heads a Burlington Northern coal train to the Edison power plant. The BN shares trackage rights here to serve the plant. And the Illinois Central also has trackage rights to run to Drummond, 10 miles west of Joliet, to serve a chemical plant. A westbound Amtrak follows on the heels of the IC Local. This train will go to Dwight, Illinois, where it will move on to Southern Pacific tracks. And the Southwest Chief flies by a short time later. Train number 198, another hotshot, heads slowly west at milepost 40. The train has slowed for the BN train, shown earlier, to clear the main at the power plant. At Lorenzo, the two tracks separate a bit near milepost 52.8. A trailer train flies by heading eastbound. And 10 minutes later, train number 3, the westbound Amtrak, makes its appearance. The evening air is quickly punctuated by the horn of an eastbound freight. And the freight is followed by the eastbound Ann Rutledge running in push-pull service. Southern Pacific next heads a freight westbound on shared trackage. Coal City is located at milepost 58.2. The end of the day is graced by an eastbound double stack as it threads its way through town. The next morning, we immediately find activity at Streator, Illinois, as an eastbound pig train heads through the yard. Before the Santa Fe abandoned its branch to Pekin, Illinois, the yard was the terminating point for the branch's locals. and quite soon after, a westbound pig train heads through town. Chillicothe was one of 3 crew change points between Chicago and Kansas City. Along with Marceline, Missouri, this crew change operation was eliminated late in 1991. Santa Fe paid for crews to relocate families before the 1991 to 1992 school year began. They also offered cash settlements for those who chose not to move. We're at milepost 130. This crew change took only 2.5 minutes, and westbound number 165 was on its way. QHOH and eastbound next makes an appearance. Beside a crew change point, this location is known for 2 major geographical items. One is the Illinois River Bridge east of town, and the other is the famous Edelstein Hill west of town. 9 curves on Edelstein limit train speeds to 50 miles per hour. This is the only grade over 1% on the Chicago to Kansas City main. We relocate to the east side of Edelstein Hill, just in time to catch number 96109 heading eastbound. It's running late because of the large amount of traffic this day. The top of the grade is just west of here. The train crests the grade and begins the curving path downgrade. (97108) also heads down grade, but using the left track. We are just east of the grade's crest. And here is 97108 as it reaches the top of the hill. Also running late this day is number 19811. It has just crested the hill and will begin its descent westbound. At Williamsfield, milepost 158.4, an extra eastbounder rounds a broad curve as it heads through town. West of Galesburg, Amtrak train number 3 is right on time as it heads into a beautiful Midwestern sunset. The town of Cameron is located at milepost 186. Here the Santa Fe crosses over the Burlington Northern. An eastbound Conrail run-through passes the picturesque site. The Conrail train started in Kansas City and will go to Streator, where it will cut over to Conrail trackage. And we see the same train as it passes through Galesburg. A BN eastbound unit coal train now graces the bridge scene. Amtrak's Southwest chief is late, and while we wait, a rail car heads eastbound on the BN tracks. Next, an eastbound general merchandise freight crosses the bridge, and we catch it here and then east of town. The eastbound Desert Wind next heads through town on BN tracks. This train is still called the California Zephyr by many on the railroad, as well as the locals. And finally, the eastbound Southwest Chief makes its appearance. Milepost 191.9 highlights a location called Armand. We're in luck because here comes the eastbound mail. And the westbound mail flies through just a bit later. 2 miles west, and another eastbound mail. Soon, a spectacular view awaits us at Smithshire. The trestle at Media provides a great view for Santa Fe trains. And an eastbound soon crosses the trestle. This trestle is located at milepost 204. West of Stronghurst, at milepost 208.9, we catch a westbound as it crests the grade. Fort Madison, Iowa is also a crew change point. Paddle wheel steamers laze up and down the Mississippi, while train action galore occurs in front of the yard office and the Amtrak station. This is the only crew change point between Chicago and Kansas City as of fall 1991. Another eastbound TOFC pulls out after a crew change. A bridge west of the yard serves as a great vantage point to catch the eastbound Amtrak number 4. And an eastbound TOFC follows the Amtrak. Delightfully ending the activities at Fort Madison, a switcher shifts a cut of cars through the yard. Maintenance is an expensive and necessary problem on all railroads. The Santa Fe's main line is a sleek, fast operation, and stabilization of track to assure a smooth and flat surface is a constant maintenance problem. This outside contractor provides the necessary equipment to pump a concrete-based product into the soil beneath the track to bolster it up against sinking. This is a fascinating operation to watch as well. And soon an eastbound flies by near the same location. We catch the same train just east of town. The stabilization equipment is brought into town and parked on a siding for the day. Gibbs, Missouri is located at milepost 306.4. Train number 197, a westbound, zooms by 3 of our cameras with a mail train. This train is a Grand Trunk run-through. An S-curve west of Gibbs provides a grand view. We will see the same train framed by an old bridge just a mile east. And very shortly after, a westbound double stack passes our vantage point. An eastbound general merchandise passes beneath the bridge. Many trains during the summer months are run in multiple sections. Our outing at Gibbs this day is indicative of the heavy traffic which must be shuffled between Chicago and Kansas City on a typical day. And track maintenance must be squeezed in between all this activity. Here a Santa Fe rail car gets out of the way between trains. And not too soon after, another eastbound passes the crossing at Gibbs, and our second vantage point just a bit east of this crossing. The 5100 chases a rail car as it approaches the bridge. Santa Fe rules require the rail car operators to leave the vehicle before the train passes, and this operator complies and checks the train for any defects as it goes by. And the last freight train at Gibbs ends an incredible amount of train watching in just a few hours, as this one heads westbound and is caught at our two favorite locations. Amtrak provides a fitting end to the activities at Gibbs. Norfolk Southern crosses over the Santa Fe at La Plata. Here, a northbound favors us with a great view. On this day, a track maintenance crew was heading for a hard day's work. This truck crane is just one of many varieties of equipment which can be found up and down the line.
Thank you much for your help.
East of Ethel, Missouri, a general merchandise train flies by. Ethel represents a typical Santa Fe scene on the line west from Fort Madison to Kansas City. Across the vast prairie which represents the heartland of America, the Santa Fe trains chasing across the countryside paint a picture of modern railroading at its best. At milepost 328, we catch the same train as it rounds a picture postcard curve. Just west of Ethel, another eastbound mail zips by a highway crossing. and it in turn is followed by another section of mail. Buckland is our last stop today. Santa Fe provides a great view for townspeople as the tracks transverse this typical Midwestern town. Missouri promotes itself as the boyhood home of Walt Disney, but for longtime residents of the town and rail fans as well, it is remembered for its huge coaling facility and yard. In June 1991, Marceline was a crew change point, but even that operation no longer exists, for in late fall, the Santa Fe eliminated crew changes between Chicago and Kansas City, except for Fort Madison. The two-story brick station was used by Santa Fe and is still used by Amtrak. The enjoyment of watching a hotshot freight slip into the yard and come to a smooth stop, crews changing over, and the train smoothly pulling out of town have ended. But we get some last looks of this great operation just before it ended. Here, eastbound and westbound trains arrive at almost the same time. Crews change out, and both trains are on their way in less than 2 minutes. Lines diverge, with the westbound to the right of the towers and the eastbound on the left side of the yard. Another eastbound heads to the crew change point. The eastbound departs and crosses over a bridge east of town. And soon, another eastbound pulls to a stop at the station. signs one sees are those referring to Walt Disney and Amtrak. And then the eastbound pulls out. We relocate to Bosworth, milepost 374.3, just in time to catch an eastbound. Bosworth is not much more than a sign and maintenance of way shed for the Santa Fe of today, and the eastbound Amtrak pays no mind as it flies through. West of Bosworth is Carrollton, and a westbound general merchandise provides a horn symphony as it flies through town. The weather turns from bad to worse, but the rain provides a fine mood as an eastbound, undaunted by this kind of weather, sails past the old station platform. And within minutes, a westbound makes an appearance. WB Junction is located at milepost 388.7. From this point west to CA Junction, the Santa Fe shares track with Norfolk Southern's Kansas City line. This was the NNW's former Wabash line from Moberly, Missouri. WB to Hardin, a distance of 16.8 miles, the route is double track. The north track is used only by Santa Fe, and the south track by both roads. Then for 12.8 miles west of Hardin, the line is three-track. Here we see a westbound. At Norborn, milepost 396.6, a westbound heads into another storm. At Hardin, the main line separates into three tracks. and the first train we see sharing trackage rights is a westbound Norfolk Southern. At Henrietta, an eastbound passes the old station. The Norfolk Southern also serves the town with away freight. Then Norfolk Southern puts on a show with a train leaving town. At CA Junction, where paired trackage ends, an NS train heads eastbound. same time, a westbound Santa Fe train heads into the junction. CA Junction also boasts a dinger of a swinger. An old wigwag signal still functions at the road crossing. The westbounder kicks up a cloud of dust as she passes. And shortly, an eastbound Conrail run-through flies through CA Junction. Is located at milepost 421.7. This eastbound Santa Fe mail train lost no time through Floyd. And before the train clears the area, a Norfolk Southern train heads in the opposite direction. We'll catch this same train later down the line near Sibley. And another NS train heads westbound at Floyd. Here's that NS train we saw earlier, now just east of Sibley. After traveling on steep banks and then a number of deck girder bridges, the Santa Fe rises high over the Missouri River on a number of through truss bridges. This bridge cost $200,000 more to build in 1887 than Santa Fe's bridge over the Mississippi. Unstable ground and the high banks on the west side of the river were the culprits that raised costs. The bridge is single track, and approach curves at both ends restrict trains to 30 miles per hour. First, a westbound comes to a stop on the double-track portion and waits for a hotshot to pass. Soon an eastbound comes off the bridge, and flanges once more protest the sharp curve. Next in line is an eastbound Conrail run-through. The west side of the bridge affords a great view of trains passing through the main trusses. The action at Sibley is one of the most enjoyable of the entire line from Chicago to KC. And very soon, Santa Fe takes its turn across this massive set of structures. Kansas City offers a great deal of train watching, enough to satisfy the most avid rail fan. From high atop a hill overlooking the city, one can get a grand view of the old Union Station and the state line interlocking operations of the Kansas City Terminal Railway. KCT is owned by all the big railroads serving the city. From this high vantage point, we catch a Santa Fe pulling through the interlocking and heading for the Union Station's through tracks. The Kansas City Terminal Trackage operates 101 track miles of railroad encompassing 2 routes across Kansas City, Missouri, plus some industrial trackage. The action at state line interlocking is awesome, with as many as 4 trains at a time passing this location. First, we see a Santa Fe heading toward Argentine Yard. Next, another westbound pulls across the myriad of tracks west of Union Station. shortly, an eastbound appears. Union Pacific makes its own transfer deliveries and rides the High Line over other tracks at this point. The BN and the UP are Santa Fe's biggest Kansas City transfer partners. Here we catch a UP train upstairs and a Santa Fe in the basement. And then a Norfolk Southern train follows on the heels of the Santa Fe, followed by another UP train on the High Line. And waiting patiently on the Y is a Sioux Line local. Note the ex-Milwaukee engine. The Sioux still sports a caboose in the train, a joy to those who miss the caboose at the end of most trains today. The Sioux is a partner with Kansas City Southern and picks up and delivers its consists directly at Argentine Yard. Amtrak's mule pulls out of Union Station to turn itself on the Y west of the station. Amtrak must schedule this turning operation between all other traffic on the KCT. east end of Argentine Yard is located close to the Missouri River. This yard is long, 6 miles long. It contains 2 humps, eastbound and westbound. In an average month, more than 50,000 cars are humped, and 29,000 are interchanged with other roads. Terminal Tower stands in the middle of the yard, and AY Tower is located here at the east end, with Turner Tower at the west end of the yard. Here we see a Norfolk Southern train entering the east end. It passes a small portion of the vast array of Santa Fe engines stored or being serviced at this end. This complex is called LMIT, which stands for Locomotive Maintenance and Inspection Terminal. In early 1988, Santa Fe established this location as the only major engine shop on the eastern part of the road. From the west end of the yard, the activity narrows through a small corridor, allowing a great vantage point for viewing incoming and outgoing trains. Here a crew boards at Turner to take this run westbound. 5 times a week, UP and Santa Fe combine a couple of unit coal trains. The Santa Fe takes the coal west to a power plant near Lawrence, Kansas. Switching continues around all the departing and arriving traffic. "21 diesels are on duty at any given time to handle yard assignments. And with traffic like we see here, it's no wonder. Here another train arrives from the west. The crews will drop off at Turner. And before the first train is fully in the yard, another one heads out. working in the yard is generally handled by rebuilt GP7s and GP9s. But hump work is taken up by 2,300 horsepower, 6-motor SD39s with 6-motor slugs. With continuing challenges facing this great railroad, the Santa Fe is getting pretty close to where it wants to be and positioning itself as an effective, efficient transportation system hard to beat anywhere in the world.